success in dunya and akhirah to be in their service. This is the system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put forward. And we see the effects of this success that are seen in the lives of many people. There was a great scholar that many of you may have heard of, Ayatollah al-Uzma, As-Sayyid Shahabuddin Marashi Najafi rahmatullah alayh. This scholar, who was from the Marashi of the 12th school of thought, initially studied and grew up in the city of Amir al-Mu'mineen in Najaf al-Ashraf, and then moved to Qum al-Muqaddasa. He has a very famous library in which many of the books that he gathered, and there are many stories about the difficulties he took to preserve the heritage that we find in the school of Ahlul Bayt. He would fast for many days and get money just to purchase books. His life is very detailed and interesting and has many lessons for us. He says that this man reached a great status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was from the Maraji and the scholars that could be emulated in the Shi'i school, and a great teacher in the Hawza of Najaf and Qum. He says, when I was a young child, I remember that in Najaf, my mother would be cooking within the household. And she would say to me, Shahabuddin, the food is ready, go and get your father. Now my father, as most of the scholars would do in the seminary, they would return home, and prior to after the time of Salatul Dhuhr, for example, he would be busy in reading. This is what my father would do until my mother would call him down and the food would be ready. One day my father was reading his book, doing mutala'a and studying, until the effects of sleep came over him and he fell asleep. So I saw my father sleeping. I didn't have it within my heart to wake him up in a way in which he may feel like I have given him aziyya, I have hurt him or caused him any difficulty. So what I did was, in order to awaken my father, I descended down towards his feet and I began to rub my face against his feet very lightly. Some reports say that he would kiss the feet of his father. Some would say rub it very lightly. From this sensation, my father awoke from this sleep, and he looked towards me and recognized that out of ihtiram and respect, I did not want to do even something as small as shake him and provide him with this difficulty. Immediately he turned towards me and started to do dua. And because of these du'as at that moment that my father had done for me, I still feel the effects in my life, and I was able to reach a very great status in the eyes of Allah Azza wa Jal. For the smallest things that you think that you may do for your parents, a dua from your mother and father can be the difference between success and failure in this life. In the narrations it mentions that the dua of al-walidain for their child is like the dua of a Nabi for his ummah. It is like the dua of a prophet for his nation. Such is the status of al-walidain in the eyes of Allah Azza wa Jal, that a person's destiny can be shaped by the way they treat their mother and father. Such is the maqam that sometimes